Right, so Collision Slam Dunk Saturday was last night. Bit of a weird one. It's like a two-parter, so this was only an hour, so a much shorter Fulton review this time. But we only have 4 matches to go from, and then like 2 promos, but the second part will be tonight, so I'll do a preview. Let's talk about it, because Gerard is on the show, and that's all I care about. So, the show opened up with Robbie Eagles taking on Kyle Fletcher for the TNT Championship. Obviously, Robbie Eagles was the trainer of Kyle Fletcher, so this was kind of a full circle moment for Kyle, I imagine. The match was good. It was a very nice pace. It was really good pace to it. You could tell they were both very similar in terms of they both understood, obviously, how to wrestle basically against themselves. What I liked is, Robbie, you could tell there was a difference. It wasn't like they were both just the exact same wrestler, which, when it comes to like a trainer versus student type of deal, they kind of are sometimes. Kyle, it just shows how much Kyle's just developed. I mean, I adored it. I love how much Kyle was different to Eagles. Eagles look great. Eagles look really good, to be honest. He was very quick. The kicks he had were great. But he was a bit more of a high flyer than I expected. I didn't expect him to be a high flyer. Obviously, we all know how good Fletcher is. Fletcher's forced to an extreme. He nearly taps to a figure 4. That was really, really cool. But overall, a solid little match. It was a good opener. It was solid. It was really, honestly, it's just a cool moment, cool little match to see. And what I enjoyed about it was, again, it was very different. It wasn't very, it could have easily been Kyle versus Kyle again, but it wasn't. It was very different, and I appreciated it. Robbie Eagles did look good. Robbie Eagles really showed out here. I thought that was very worth mentioning. I thought he could have easily just, been there, took the punches, and been like, oh, Kyle's really developed. No, he actually showed up, and I really like that. They do show, obviously, the context via the house rules thing with the trios match. Him and Hangman teaming up, Brody and Hangman teaming up with him to get the win over Kyle. Honestly, yeah, I liked Kyle's attitude and characteristic, obviously. Kyle does a few backbreakers here. They're fucking brutal. And what I enjoyed is at the end. So Kyle's basically... it was a bit like... So Kyle's basically on top for a good bit of it, but Robbie Eagles makes a comeback, forcing Kyle to nearly tap out. But then Kyle basically locks in. And I always like when Kyle does that. I always like when he has to really force himself to lock in. I like that. I think that's a great characteristic. Even him kicking the head of Robbie Eagles in a disrespectful manner. Shit like that. The height Robbie Eagles gets in some of his air is great. It's just a great match. It's not like a right home bout. It's not Kyle's best match in the TNT run, but there's a lot of... It's just nice to see. And honestly, like, you can see the similarities. You can tell Kyle was trained by this guy. But either way, it was a great match. Robbie Eagles showed out. I wouldn't be against seeing him again. To be perfectly honest, I wouldn't. But either way, this was a great little match. I really enjoyed it. So, after this, we actually got Moxley and Pac in a promo. So, it was Moxley basically going, Will Ospreay. Basically calling out Ospreay for attack, and I'm saying this isn't over, they want to go. We had to take him on the shelf. Basically, just saying Ospreay, we had to do what we had to do because he is how he is. He respects Ospreay in that respect, but he will not take this lightly. Then Pac goes in and goes, I don't even know why you're doing it to me. I didn't wear it even there. That's what I like. Pac was like, what'd you say fuck me for? That's what Pac's doing. But Pac basically says, look, we've never got on. I can always tell you were a prick. But this isn't over. Watch out. So essentially, we're getting Pac versus Ospreay. Get in. All-timer. 2 of the best British wrestlers ever going at it. And Moxley's obviously the end game. I love this. I think this is really good action. And honestly, yeah, I fuck with this heavy. This could be really fucking good. But after this, we actually got our LFI showcase match against the 3 indie talents. Obviously, LFI being Mortos, Jalistico, and Roosh. Roosh was the main focus. Fucking, I don't know what I've missed with Mortos. He's coming out in a tie and glasses now. Fucking peak. I love Mortos. Really nice to see him. He's like, I love all 3 of these guys, but Mortos is excellent. It's fine. It's a squash match, what you expect. It's all 3 of them just great. Jalistico's excellent. Mortos has no reason to move the way he does, being that size and that stature. It's great. Obviously, Roosh is very explosive. They confirm Roosh is having a match with Darby on Dynamite. That'll be good. I think it's just a build to that. They do get the win, what you expect. Roosh is just... I feel like they're getting behind Roosh again, so I'm interested to see how this goes in LFI as a whole. But either way, this is interesting. I was happy honestly, I'd keep them in the trios division. I know I love Roosh, and all 3 of these guys are singles. I would keep them in the trios. I think they really offer something new there. And honestly, they're great. Great Collision mainstays they should be. I like this. I'm just happy to see these 3 guys wrestle. The guys they showed up against didn't really have much to do. Neither did they. Honestly, it was mainly Roosh. Morto's had tiny bits to do. Jalisco's just so athletic and insane. If you know what these guys are like, which they are so impressive, this is just another reason to remind yourself how good they are. So that was that. But just a little throw, and I'm happy to see they're getting a bit of a push. That's what I'm happy about. They're getting a bit of a push. They're going to be on. They've been on TV a few times now, a few weeks. So keep that going. So after this, we actually got Tekla backstage. She gets asked about Toni Storm, and she goes, "Oh, it's terrible," and starts laughing. And Lexi Nair goes like, "Why? Why? Do you have anything to do?" She said, "I have all things to do." And I was like, "What?" Because they're clearly doing a murder mystery angle. I love this. But then they go, she basically goes, she saw what she done with Statlander. She claims she wanted her title back, and she faked it all. I had everything to do. She's too scared because no one's basically ready to face Tekla. And I'm like, yeah, fucking get it. But yeah, so basically that was it really. She's just basically giving a comment. They need to drag this Tony thing out for a while. I think it could be really fun. But Tekla being very egotistical about it, saying Tony faked it because she was scared of her. I think that's excellent. I think that was a really good angle to go with it. So after this, we actually got the Brawling Birds versus the Sisters of Sin. Obviously Jamie Hayter and Alex Windsor versus Julia Hart and Sky Blue. This match was the first proper time I feel like I've seen the Brawling Birds have a true straight match at this point. They look good. I like them. I like the pair of them. They're so charismatic. They're so hard hitting. I think they really blend with each other well. This match, I will say I like the Sisters of Sin here. I thought they looked not that bad. I think the way they attacked each other, it was quite smooth. It was a very smooth match. This was the real match of the night in terms of the time, but it was solid. Hayter and Windsor takes a lot of the bumps, but even then, as it further goes on, I mean, Sky Blue, I think this match just amplifies Sky Blue needs to be singles. I feel like this really amplifies it. I feel like her hard-hitting nature really is amplified here. I think Julia Hart looks good in terms of the assisting, being there, just getting little licks in. But in terms of actual wrestling, Sky Blue's just developed. I think Sky Blue's beyond the tag now. I think she has to be singles. I don't know why it's taken so long. Jamie Hayter's great, obviously. Alex Windsor's great. They do get the win, as you expect. I was really happy with that. There was no promo or interference after it. I think there should have been, but I'm not going to complain about it. Either way, it was nice. It was a nice little match. It wasn't great. It wasn't not great. It was fine. It was good. It was better. I'm enjoying the Brawling Birds more. They're obviously teasing them versus the Divine Dominion coming up, because obviously they do mention that the Brawling Birds are on a great little record, so I assume, but it's too early to go at it right away. I need to say that they need to build this a bit, maybe to All In. I think that's what they might do. But either way, they got to have these two win the titles, but the Divine Dominion got to have a little bit of a run. So let's not beat these the first contenders. I think that's very important. But yeah, my main takeaway is get Sky Blue out the damn tag. Not that Julia Hart was bad here. It's the best I've seen Julia Hart in a while. Just Sky Blue's she can tell she's waiting to be a single star. And honestly, yeah, the character work, the wrestling, the style, it's just there. She just needs to be pushed. And I think that should be the way now. Really, I think it's overdue, but they need to get on that soon as. After this, we actually got Brody King backstage getting asked about what happened with him and Swerve. And he basically goes, look, I'm only alive here because of Kenny. Which Kenny made the save, so he's always going to be grateful for that. But him and Swerve, this isn't over. And I'm like, yes, fucking go for it. This is exactly the way. And then he does affirm it. So him and Swerve aren't over. I love that. And then he does affirm saying, look, the chase for singles gold's on. Get him versus Kyle for the TNT belt. My life is yours. Even him versus Okada. I don't give a fuck. Get Brody a belt. It has to happen. I love him. Yes, I'm happy they confirmed him and Swerve aren't over. That's really good news. After this, we actually get a small MJF hype package, basically repeating his backstage promo from Dynamite, and then just affirming that he's going to be back on Dynamite this week. So that's that, really, not really to note. And then we got our main event, the Death Riders, Danny Garcia and Claudio Castagnoli, who had not had the CMLL title as he lost it. We're going to talk about that event one day, soon, probably today or tomorrow. And against Commander and Dorada! Yes! Tabata actually doesn't have that much to do. He doesn't really have that much to do yet. But Commander looks great. Danny Garcia is so fucking good. His character work is so fucking great. It's insane. I really like Garcia. I think this really amplifies it. I think when he comes out and he's going, ain't no way! And the Commander's in the face, go, don't you ever talk to me. It's such bravado in his voice. It's brilliant. He just has that arrogance. And even Shivani says, look, we all know Utah's hated. Garcia's becoming the most hated because of this attitude. I'm like, I wouldn't go that far. But the fact that he's nailed this heel persona, which I love Danny as a face. I thought Danny Garcia as a face was excellent. This works. I think Danny Garcia has come on a hell of a lot. It's mainly Danny Garcia versus Commander, and then obviously Claudio getting involved. Whenever Dorado gets in, he just changes the game because he's the fucking greatest. But Jesus, I really enjoyed this. I think it only got like 10-15 minutes, not even that. It was quite short, that's what I'm saying. They give the most of the time to the Brawling Birds versus Sisters of Sin, which is fine, but you got Dorado here, and Commander, and Claudio, and Danny Garcia. Let's develop that. But either way, I really enjoyed this. It wasn't the quickest. It was mainly Commander getting the shit beaten out of him, but just showing up. He doesn't do the rope spot. The main spot of the night was him and Dorado. And they both go on the top ropes themselves and both do a double dive together. I thought that was really cool. This match was very similar in terms of the finish to the Robbie Eagles, Kyle Fletcher one, where basically Commander is basically getting the best of them, and then Claudio just locks the fuck in. Like, it's insane. Like, it's not even a minute, like 30 seconds, and he just starts hitting like 3 finishes. I think he hits the brainbuster, he does the giant swing, everything, and the backbreakers. The backbreakers in this match were ridiculous too, and gets the win. I really enjoyed it. Again, Dorado doesn't have too much to do here, and Moxley doesn't even make an appearance on comms or anything. I thought that was going to happen. Marina's backstage, she gets one little dig in, so it's nothing crazy. But it was not really the most... It felt like a match to finish rather than... it didn't feel like an end of match, main event rather. And I feel like that was fine. I feel like it was just to kind of get this in here so we could fill the time. And tonight, Sunday, is going to be the bigger, more traditional feel. But it was a fine match. It wasn't the greatest match I've seen. I think, the talent they have there, it was good little... The pace was good. It was quite quick. It was quite effective. I would give this more time. I think it was very susceptible to that, especially towards the end. But overall, it was a solid little match. Nice little way to end Collision. Dorado's on it. That's all I care about. But Commander looked great. It was really nice to see Commander again. Garcia just steals it, though. Garcia steals the show. He's just constantly ragging her, going, ain't no way. Again, just being outside and goes, ain't no way. It's just... I don't know how to describe the attitude, but it's just brilliant. I really love the Danny Garcia here. I think they just need to fucking continue with it. It's excellent. But either way, nice little main event. Death Riders get the win. Shock. But I really like this. I think Danny Garcia and Claudio and Commander mainly have it. Not that Dorado can do whatever the fuck he wants, but it didn't feel like he had a lot to do. But solid ass match. Really good match. I hope we get to see this again with a bit more time. So yeah, that was everything on the show this tonight. Obviously, I'm not going to say what should happen, what I think should have been there, because we still got tonight. It's basically a show split in 2 because of the basketball. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the night. What was your match of the night for the first 4? What do you expect for tonight? I'll do a preview later today. And yeah, I enjoyed this. And Dorado, I'm not as hyped for Dorado because he didn't have much to do, but I'm always, deep down, I love that man.